Hey buds, today we're going to be making a build that is reminiscent of the Cold Sorc from D2. You'll have your teleport, you'll have your ice armor, your Nova, and most of all you're going to have Blizzard, because that's the important one. The way the build works is, as you can expect, you're just trying to proc a ton of chill effect between enemies and keep them in one place, while you rain them with Blizzards and Frostbolt to selectively hit certain targets to kill them. I threw in Deep Freeze just because it's a nice, safe ability for you in case you're in a bad pinch. And it also helps freeze and chill things as well. Enhancements-wise, I like to take Frozen Orb because anytime you're using any of your abilities other than your basic, you have a 20% chance to launch a Frozen Orb. And this synergizes with Frozen Orb stays in place after reaching its destination and explodes 2 additional times for 30% of its damage. I wouldn't say that this build is very viable if you want to have fast clear times or if you want to have good boss damage, but what it is fun. It's an enjoyable build and it's something that brings me back to the D2 days. So I still enjoy it even though it's not necessarily the most viable. In terms of the gear, what I have right now, casting Ice Armor makes you unstoppable for 2.3 seconds. Becoming injured while crowd control grants you unstoppable for 4 seconds. You deal 16% increased damage to vulnerable enemies while you have a barrier. Damaging elite enemy grants you a barrier, absorbing up to 133 damage for 10 seconds. You have 20% increased crowd control duration and deal 32% increased damage to unstoppable enemies. The Frozen Orb Legendary, as I said. Explosions from Shatter, key passive, deal 33% increased damage if enemies die while frozen. Deal 9.3% increased damage for each second you stand still, up to 30%. While Ice Armor is active, you leave behind exploding spikes that deal 118 damage. Your ice spikes chill enemies for 10%. And finally, when not healthy, a magical bubble summon around you for 4.5 seconds. So the skills we're going to take for this build are Frostbolt, obviously, has a chance to explode chilled enemies, and we go the mana route to try and keep uptime for Blizzard. We put 1 point in Frozen Orb because of our enhancement. We're going to select the enhancement for it, which makes it so any non-basic skill that's cast has a 20% chance to launch a Frozen Orb. Frost Nova, we go down the tree here where it generates mana per enemy hit. And for Ice Armor, we're going down for when you have a chance to apply armor anytime that you get hit, as well as damage against vulnerable enemies contributes 100% more to Ice Armor Barrier. Main ability that we actually use is Blizzard, and we're going the path where if you're casting above 50 mana, the duration is increased. So we try to keep the mana up and we try and get that ability off and get the most time out of it that we can. I put 2 points in Deep Freeze just so that you get a bit of a barrier from it, as well as the extra survivability if you get in a pinch or some poor situation. In terms of a combo, there's not anything too particular here. You don't have to proc too much. You're just keeping your ice armor up to get the extra ice spikes, and you're just keeping blizzards down. Every time you're using a skill, you're basically getting a 20% chance to have a Frost Orb come off of the proc. Nova if you need to create distance and move back. Kite with Frost Bolts. And if you're in a pinch, use your Deep Freeze. You also have Teleport. Teleport is handy where if you're standing still and stacking your damage up to 30, you can do that and it doesn't lose the stacks. As you can see, the damage isn't crazy, but it feels satisfying to play still, and for that reason, I still think it's a fun build to try out. What I'm hoping will happen is on release that we'll have more synergies at later levels, and with Paragon that it's going to be a viable build at some point. For all I know as well, there may be some other legendaries that I don't have that could really buff the damage, but as it stands right now, it's fairly mid, but it's fun. So I would still think that it's something that people can try if they have good memories of Frost Orb from D2. So that wraps up the video. If you like the video, let me know by a positive comment, thumbs up, and you can subscribe. Appreciate you folks, and have a great day.
I need more time.
Cold.
pull. I need time to prepare that. I have time to do that. I'm low on precious mana.